We want to manifest our greatest reality, but there are triggers. We are human. We all get triggered. It is perfectly natural and normal. It's how you deal with the trigger that allows you to fast track your manifestations and to actually have breakthroughs. Your brain is a goal-seeking machine. The programs that are inside your subconscious, you will scan, delete, and distort reality to continuously confirm those programs. So when a trigger comes up, it's kind of saying, hey, we have a faulty program. We have something that does not feel good in our body. It does not resonate with us. Let's freaking deal with it. You got to face your triggers head on. And stop avoiding them, because triggers actually give you this gift. They show you where you are harboring so much energy, leaky energy, where you're essentially giving your power away. So when a trigger literally comes up in your reality and it manifests and it pops up, you have this unique opportunity to say, hey, okay, this is something that's been going on unconsciously for a while, potentially maybe a long time. It's coming out. How do I want to deal with it? Do I want to go down the path of negative spiral and continuously confirm the reality that I don't want? Or do I want to say, hey, trigger, I see you. Thank you for showing up. I'm going to deal with this now. Because a lot of times triggers are very much dormant beasts. I kind of want to put it that way. It's like within your subconscious, there's all this different programming that you receive throughout your childhood, throughout your life. Some of it you're conscious, some of it you're not. When you get deeply triggered by something, often it's because there's something within your subconscious that's been dormant and it's probably been controlling you more than you know. So when it comes up, thank it. And take the time to release it, because if not, it will continue to control you. One of my favorite quotes is from this famous psychologist, Carl Jung, and he says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. You will think that things just tend to happen to you, and you will have this belief that all of your desires that you want to bring into this world, that you want to manifest, that you want to actually see pop up, are more out of reach than they actually are. All right. So from this moment forward, I want you to think of your triggers as this magical moment. I know, a little counterintuitive, but bear with me for a moment, because this mindset has the potential to radically transform your life. We all have circumstances, emotional cues that come up that we're literally like, me no likey. I don't like this. I don't want this. I want this to go away. I want something completely different. And that's perfectly normal. So when the triggers come up, instead of feeling ashamed or feeling bad or being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this triggered me, or going down the endless spiral of trying to hack your nervous system, this might seem like a tangent, but let me just plug it in because it's so important. There is so much information out there to hack your nervous system, mindset hacks, and these are fantastic. But when you get too good at hacking your nervous system and hacking your mindset, you will avoid certain triggers that are deeply rooted and they will continuously control you. So I just want to bring that to the forefront of your mind, that if you notice that you need to literally regulate your nervous system about the same thing every single week or month, or it just continues to pop up, deal with the trigger. Okay. It will be a lot smoother. Maybe in the beginning, it'll feel a little more icky, but in the long run, you'll be so much better off. Now that that's said, okay, back to the mindset. So when a trigger comes up, what you want to do is really take a moment to identify the origin of the programming. You want to take the time to dismantle it, and you want to take the time to rewire it from a frame of where you are now, because again, these triggers could be from your childhood. It could be from a couple of years ago in your life. So you're in a different place today. Today, you're in a place where you are ready to write a story of empowerment. You're ready to massage in a new reality, a new subconscious identity. And so when those triggers come up, I want you to really take a moment to say, thank you, trigger. I'm going to take a moment to look within. Where does the original programming come from? I'm going to dismantle it, and I'm going to confirm what it is that I actually desire. And when you do this, you will fast track your manifestations. All right. I'm going to give you an example of how I was recently really triggered And I literally went down this negative mindset spiral for like, honestly, a couple of days. It took me a minute to snap out of it. But it's such a trivial thing. And I feel like I'm literally exposing myself. I think this is part of my healing to expose this trigger. But at the same time, it's also such a good example to use because it's so like it's easy. So a couple of weeks ago, I had procedure done by the name of Botox. Well, Botox is the name of a brand, but the procedure is like basically injecting things in your face so that your muscles don't move as much and that your wrinkles become finer. Now, there's so much backstory that I could share with this, but let me just jump to the conclusion. The person who injected the Botox botched it. And by botched, let me show you. Like, you see this? You see how my cheek is going up like this? And there's this line and it's not even. For me, that's botched. In the handful of times I've done Botox, I've never experienced a result like this. And without going into the blame game or blaming myself, blaming them, whatever it is, it's botched. And I was really pissed. Like when it started coming out, like it initially this eye and this eye, it was a huge gap. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna look like a freaking freak. My smile is ruined because I look like a squirrel now when I smile. And there is a spiral that began because I began to really regret my choice. I wasn't even like sure that I wanted to get the Botox. I know that even when it came to the validation, my most viral video here on YouTube, I had no more Botox in my face, and I have a series of comments from people who ask me what is my beauty regimen because I look so much younger than my age. I am 39, going to be 40 soon, and so it's like part of me was like, why are you even getting this? Like, people say you look great, you feel great, like why are you going to go spend your money to do this? So there was a lot of judgment, and I've had this debate with myself with Botox before, but I kind of just ignore it and I go with it. And so when it got botched, which I think I manifested, to be honest, I got really triggered. My first instinct was to blame the clinic, blame the person who injected it, because at the end of the day, that person injected too much Botox into my face, and that's what gives this result. And I got so sick of hearing myself complain and spiraling that I was like, let me stop and actually face this trigger, because I can't go a couple of months criticizing myself, criticizing my face. So the moment where I decided to face the trigger head on, maybe because part of me was like, I don't really have a choice. I do have a choice. I could complain for the next like several months, or I could just face it head on. I'm choosing to face it head on. How would I move through this with love? Like, what would love do? Love is the opposite of fear. And when you're triggered and you're going down a negative spiral, you're spiraling in fear. Like the thoughts I began to have, like they went far, you guys. Like I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to affect my YouTube channel. I'm not going to be able to do my smiling thumbnails. It went far. And maybe some of you are like, no, that's ridiculous. It's not that bad. It doesn't show. It doesn't even matter. What was going on in my brain? It was going down really far. I'm going to ruin my brand. I'm going to go out of business. Like it went so far. It actually kind of made me laugh at the end. But the point is that is the fear. That is the trigger. When the trigger like takes over and the fears take over, like this is where you're noticing that, holy shit, you're putting so much emphasis on this one thing. It is actually robbing so much of your energy. And this could be for anything in your life. This could be anything in your physical appearance. This could be with your bank account. Maybe you had a contract that you had with a company and it didn't work out, or a client like didn't come through with their payment, or you got fired, or your SP is suddenly saying they're not into you as you are into them. Like something is manifesting that is at some point to a certain level out of your control, because other people are autonomous, other people have their lives, and you are co-creating all your situations. But there are some things that like, it's happening, okay? It is happening. And so asking yourself in that moment, like, what would love do? How do I actually want to experience this reality? Do I want to experience it in fear, or do I want to take back my power and go through this with a more empowered mindset, with a more empowered energy. And so going to my little Botox botchery story. Look, I'm smiling, I'm laughing. I'm not gonna freaking stop smiling and laughing. Like it is what it is, right? I asked myself, like, why do I choose to believe that because I received a Botox that was botched, that my face looks like this? And it's like, and I knew already for a fact that I was exaggerating in the sense that I see my face, but unless I actually said this to you, you probably wouldn't even notice. Like, actually comment below. Maybe you're like, no, girl, it's really obvious. But it's like, I had to ask myself, why do I think so much is riding on how I look? Because there are people of all shape, sizes, color, ethnicity, curly hair. I usually my hair is curly hair, straight hair, short hair, long hair, like tall, short, young, more mature. Like there are successful people at any stage and with any physical body, right? And I'm like, why do I think that this one thing is such a big deal? Like, why is it becoming such a drama in my head? Some of the answers are tangible in the sense that no one wants to go pay a couple $100s to have their face botched. Like, okay, like no one wants that. So it's normal to be upset, but to get this triggered and to go down this deep fear, it's more deeply rooted. And what I really realized is that part of me puts so much emphasis on my looks that I feel that if I don't look a certain way, I will be abandoned, I will be forgotten. Like there is a collective programming, I feel, for a lot of women, especially like if you come from a country where there's maybe more plastic surgery than others. So I'm originally from Iran, where there's a lot of plastic surgery. Countries I'm thinking like Brazil and Colombia and just different countries. These are the countries that come first to my mind. But like there is so much emphasis on the external beauty, on staying young. There's just this on women on all fronts that we feel, I'll speak for myself anyways, that I feel the older I get that I'm getting to like not looking good enough or not being enough. And my husband is the one that actually pointed it out, because he's like, Atena, first of all, you still look beautiful. You will always look beautiful. But second, he's like, and he's really not judgmental. Like he lets me do what I do. He definitely doesn't encourage me though, because he's like, you don't need it. In the sense, like he said, you do realize you're being brainwashed. You're being brainwashed into believing that your wrinkles make you not beautiful. And when he said that, like in the most unjudgmental way, in the most loving way, I was like, shit, he's right. Like I'm brainwashed into thinking that by getting older or becoming more mature by age, it means that I'm less beautiful. And I'm making the meaning of less beautiful less relevant. And I began to untangle it. And I decided, first of all, I am more than the external beauty. I am more than the perceived external beauty. Also, I decide what's beautiful. When I look at this body and I look at myself in the mirror, I decide that I'm beautiful. I don't need a marker from the external world to say that to me. And the moment that really clarified, and I feel like I may have even had this clarification other times before, but other times I would continue to ignore it and I would hide. But this time I'm like, I'm not going to hide. I'm coming on YouTube many, many times over the next couple of months until this goes away. Like I am going to continue to show up. I am not going to hide and skirt reality because I have an insecurity from a botched Botox job. And this is the place where I rose the level of consciousness to the programming and I decided I'm going to let it go. Is it going to feel uncomfortable? Yeah, but a part of it is right here, right now, as I'm exposing it to you, I am releasing the grip it has onto me by being radically honest about it, by also choosing to accept myself. And if you want to follow my journey on YouTube for the next couple of months, I promise you, I am going to increase the volume in this channel because I've decided that nothing is going to stop me. I've decided that I am successful, that I am more than just my looks. I have a powerful voice. I have unique stories. I have an energy. My presence is the value that I'm putting forward. And yes, of course, everyone still wants to look beautiful. Everyone wants that. And I'm like, I do still get to look beautiful. Like, it's not because there is this one thing on my face that I'm not beautiful. We are all beautiful in so many different ways. Like, our energy is beautiful. So this is a long-winded way to share how circumstances manifesting your 3D do not get to control you. Triggers do not get to control you. When they show up, question them. Question what got you to this place of being this triggered. And ask yourself positive questions to get you out of it, instead of going down on yourself and saying, why did this happen to me? Or why is that person like this? Or why did that happen? Tell yourself, okay, how would love move forward in this situation? What is it that I genuinely want to experience? How do I want to experience my reality? You can accept that you're sad. You can even accept that you're devastated. Like, if your desired partner just left you, or you had a crash when it comes into your income, you can be devastated about these things. You can allow yourself to acknowledge that, to grieve that. But remember that reality is actually always working in your favor. And if you choose to say, well, what is this moment trying to teach me? How can I move forward with love? By extracting the wisdom, by choosing the direction I'm placing my focused attention on. Like, again, with the botox, I can choose to put the direction in the fear of, this means that I'm not looking good enough. This means that my smile is this. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Like, it all sounds so stupid to me right now, to be honest. But like, in the moment, it didn't feel stupid. And it's like, do I want to go down that fear path, or do I want to choose to stand in my power, to view my essence, to view my beauty in a whole new way? So like, after a heartbreak, do you want to be closed off and swear off men, swear off women, guard yourself? Or do you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to choose to double down on self-love. I'm going to learn the psychology of boundaries. I'm going to get clear on what are my standards? What are my values? If a job is constantly triggering you, your boss is constantly triggering you, it just never feels settled. Maybe it's an invitation to do work on yourself in terms of feeling worthy simply for being. Perhaps it's an invitation for you to change environments. Maybe the environment of your work is simply not for you. If a friend is constantly triggering you, and you're constantly blaming your friend, take a look within. Maybe the environment of the friendship is not for you, or maybe your friendship is activating insecurities within you that you got to deal with and heal. So the trigger can always feel very anxious when we look at it as the climax, as like the end point of a story. But it can literally just be a climax. Like, you're triggered, it's bringing you to this high. Okay, how do I want to go through this? This isn't the end. This trigger is not the end of me. I'm choosing to work with this climax. How do I want the movie to end? Like, literally think of this as a chapter, as a movie, as a book, a one part of your life. How do you want that ending to be? And a part of that is not 100% not about avoiding the climax. It's not about saying, okay, the movie just got a little too intense, just got a little too interesting. I'm not quite sure. I'm just gonna like go there and pretend it didn't happen. No, I'm going to be intentional about how I'm going to process this moment. I know this moment is not the end. I'm going to choose what the end is about, because I'm also remembering that at the end of the day, I'm the operant power. You are the operant power. Nothing in this life has meaning beyond what you decide it has meaning. And so you got to be intentional about the meanings to the different things you give in your life. When you're triggered, it's because the meaning you're giving to something is highly out of alignment with you. Okay, just want to plug in here also for those of you who want a clarity and momentum of where your story's headed and how you want to manifest yourself like moving forward from your highest timeline and do it with a sensation of deep unconditional love. We have a free activation inside It's Possible community where we suspend our disbeliefs and we literally get unapologetic about what we're calling in. So inside the It's Possible community, we did a future self hypnotic activation and we infused it with the seed of unconditional self-love. So this allows you to love yourself presently in the moment, get that clarity, and through the power of hypnosis, which is a focused state of relaxation, you can travel through time and space and really get attuned to your highest timeline and get some information and feedback from your higher self. So if that's something that feels like, ooh, I want to experience that, I'm gonna leave the comment. I'm gonna leave the comments. I'm going to leave the link for you below. You can join for free. So we all have expectations in life. Our expectations are our desires plus our beliefs. It's never about abandoning the desire. So I have a desire to feel and look beautiful. I am never going to abandon that desire. And you should never abandon your desire. You have the desire to be in a loving relationship. You have a desire for secure income. You have a desire for travel. All of these are special. It's the belief of how you're going to achieve the desire that sets an expectation that will either serve you or trigger you. So my belief, like let's just go back to a couple of weeks ago, is that I need Botox in order to feel beautiful and to continue to look young. That belief of having to inject poison in my face to believe that I'm beautiful and to feel beautiful, that's the one I want to evaluate. Where does this belief come from? Does this belief serve me? And the answer is absolutely not. It does not serve me. Where does it come from? I can do a whole story on this for women, but it's clear where it comes from. And we talked about it a bit. So take that time to digest where your triggers come from. Where are your expectations that are out of alignment because of the belief you have, not the desire? Where are they out of alignment with where you're headed? Your triggers will go away because you're choosing to interact with them in a whole different way. Can you feel how liberating that is? And how, when you face your triggers head on and you question the beliefs that are disempowering through this and you choose to activate a new story, you become a lot freer. And when you become a lot freer, you manifest what you want so much faster. You also become way more detached because you no longer need to micromanage and control every single situation. You become detached because you remember that you are the operant power. You decide the definition of everything. You decide how to navigate through this life. You decide what your story is. Okay, I gotta go. I got a client session. All right, beautiful soul. Let me know how this landed with you. Drop a comment below. Drop a like in this video if you've enjoyed it. And I will see you in the next one.